my theme music. Tradition. You can't fake it. You can't buy it. You have to build it. You have to earn it. It takes grit, strength, and talent. We have a tradition like no other. We have Ralphie. She's more than a mascot. She's a symbol of strength. Unyielding spirit. And now she leads us into the future. The tradition continues.
Here comes Ralphie.
So run, Ralphie, run.
What's up, Buffs Nation, and welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ, and welcome to the Friday show. And that's right, baby. Ralphie is back. Officially today, the university announced that Ralphie 7 will be taking to the field tomorrow night for the very first time, making a comeback in return for our mascot after, of course, Ralphie 6 having to retire early. If you're going to be at that game tomorrow, it's going to be absolutely electric. One of the hottest tickets in Colorado now to be able to go and see Ralphie's very first run. So if you're going to the game, let me know. If you're watching this recording later on, of course, because there are some other pregame shows happening. Appreciate you for tuning in live or tuning in later on. But absolutely electric, exciting, and hopefully it can jumpstart the Buffs and perhaps get us a little bit more juice for tomorrow's game against Wyoming, because getting to see Ralphie run in her actual just majesty that is the Buffalo running when she actually runs, perhaps that might give CU the extra bit of kick and juice that we need. And I think, Cam, you're absolutely right. That is the omen we needed, buddy. That's what I've been saying all day. Watching that video with Chad Brown, talking about Ralphie, seeing the glimpses of new Ralphie running, hearing everything that I'm hearing out of CU that has seen her run during her practice runs. Guys, she is electric. She is energetic. She is everything that Ralphie 6 was not. Now, the question is, can she perform inside of a large stadium with, 50,000 people ready to go? We'll find out tomorrow night. So super excited. Glad to have her back. We missed her. Coming in for the hardest and most difficult stretch of the season coming up. So for her to get her little run in for the first time against Wyoming, I think is amazing. And then we're going to be ready to go once we hit the meat of this schedule. Okay, once we hit the meat of the schedule. Goddamn, the buff boxes are so good. Cam, I'm telling you, you guys don't understand. I know that I shill it every video. I know some of you might be getting sick of me throwing that out there, but I'm serious. I would not be advertising the Buffs box if I didn't believe that it was one of the best values, one of the best, organization of food that you can get, and the cheapest right now. I mean, I'm telling you, I've ordered numerous of the boxes, and I have not been able to finish a single one. There's too much food. So, hey, you're coming to the game tomorrow. Make sure you get your buff box. Listen to a Laramie podcast on the game. They trash talked the entire time. No class out there in Laramie. Buddy, hey, tweet me who they are. Tweet me the podcast if you could, because I'd love to find them and listen to them. I looked again this week, guys. Not easy to find a team or person to talk to. BYU, on the other hand, will definitely have some people to talk to. We already know about them. So we'll figure that out for next week. But I couldn't find anybody when it came to Wyoming football. So happy to be pointed in that direction and hear what they had to say when it comes to trash talking us, because we'll see what happens after that game. Surprising me, Laramie's not typically a trash talking fan base. I don't know. I've seen some stuff that's gone on when they play CSU. I mean, that rivalry can get a little bit more heated. Obviously, we haven't played Wyoming very often, but Wyoming and CSU every year get down pretty nicely. So I have seen a little bit there. So not totally surprising. Not totally surprising there. Okay, guys, we have some more news. Some breaking news today to share with you guys. Some exciting news. Some news that we've been waiting for a while, as it's kind of settled down with the season already starting. But we have recruiting news for Colorado, because guess what? Colorado has officially received a crystal ball from the one and only Steve Wiltfong. That's right. Fong Bomb dropped today for a player who is committing next week. So it makes sense that the Fong Bomb dropped. And that is for 3-star wide receiver Christian Ward for the 2026 class, 6'3", 185, originally from Georgia, currently residing in Florida at IMG Academy. To learn a little bit more about Christian Ward, per Rivals, he is the number 681st recruit in the nation, the number 105 wide receiver, the number 81 player from Florida. And he is currently, like I said, at IMG, 6'3", 185 pounds. The interesting part of this, guys, if the name sounds familiar, you're kind of wondering, I thought we've been on him for a while. We have not. That's because we were in on his brother, who is committed to Alabama in the 2027 class. So his brother is younger than him and is committed to Bama out of the 2027 class. Alexander Ward, 6'1", 170-pound athlete, committed to Alabama last year, already in the 2027 class. You got to wonder, could Colorado sway him to come join his brother? We've got time to start that recruitment, and maybe something's already being done behind the scenes to get Christian Ward to commit. But when you look at Alabama, who, by the way, are in Christian Ward's top 4, for the 2026 class, Alabama already has 4 wide receivers committed. So as soon as I saw that Bama was hot on him and that Bama was high on him, I wondered, though, if they had too many receivers recruited, that Christian Ward saw an opportunity to come to Colorado, to commit to the Buffs, and be a part of this team going forward. So it looks like Christian Ward could be you heard how we got Christian Ward. Zell, I'd love you to tell me how we got Christian Ward. Northside, appreciate you dropping by as always. Hey, it's a beautiful Friday in Colorado, everybody. We've got football tomorrow, late night. I'm going to spend the day, drinking, having fun. Oktoberfest here in Colorado. Going to be going to some of that stuff tomorrow, and then enjoy the game late at night. So I'm going to have a great Saturday no matter what. And of course, make sure you guys know we will be going live after the game with David Talks Buffs on the post-game show. So if you want to be a part of that immediately following the game, I know DNVR will usually be live after the game, but they're usually on a little bit later, as it does take them some time to get organized once the game concludes. But we will be on immediately afterwards for you to kind of voice your opinions, talk about the early reactions, initial reactions to that game. And of course, Monday, on the Monday show, whether it will be, and I got to say this, because I got somebody tweeting at me like, oh, why are you so negative? Crash out Monday? Really? Yeah, that's what we call it, guys. So Monday is either Crash Out Monday or Victory Monday, depending on what happens Saturday night. We'll see what kind of Monday it is and what kind of show we'll have, and we'll be hearing from you, the fans, on Monday afternoon. Jared Crawford, appreciate you dropping by. Thank you so much for being here. Barstool CSU had a hard time picking this game for their Mount West Barstool page for game picks. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they hate every second the fact that, CU is the most popular team in Colorado and probably the best right now football team in Colorado, even when we're struggling, because unfortunately Air Force and CSU are not doing their best. I mean, maybe Northern Colorado might be the better team at this point than those other two, because they should have beat CSU, and they won another game. They're actually looking pretty decent this year, which is surprising because Northern Colorado has not looked good for years here in the state. Northside coach Sanford said many interesting things on Matt's show. I watched some of Matt's show. I didn't watch the part with Sanford. I'll have to go back and watch it to see what he had to say. There's definitely some interesting things going on behind the scenes, and I'm really wanting to know the truth. I would love to find more information, but as we know, we're not going to get a lot of information from behind the scenes of Colorado. And the people who could get that information are going to keep it tight to their chest so that they don't lose access to the team, because, hey, you lose access to this team, it's going to cost you big time. It's going to cost you big time. Wyoming and CU shared hatred for CSU. That we can agree on. Like, that's what I'm excited about this game. It's why I haven't seen any Wyoming fans get into my chat, get into my comments, my tweets. Nothing. Still getting Georgia Tech fans, by the way. They are still talking smack to us. They seem to be now hate watching us without the knowledge that if Colorado succeeds, it helps them. But hey, I guess the Georgia education's just not that very high if they don't understand that aspect of after you play a team like us, and we're not rivals. So I don't get that. But hey, if Georgia Tech fans want to cheer us on and cheer on our downfall, then hey, more power to them. I love that they're hate watching my show on top of it. So if you're watching, thank you. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting the algorithm. Thank you for supporting my AdSense revenue. It is always appreciated from anybody, including fans of other teams. So we've got the Christian Ward news. We've got the news about Ralphie 7. A great day to be a Buff. Some great news coming out. Yes, Northside. We still play Georgia Tech in Georgia next season. We'll have to see what happens. They won't have Haynes King, but Andrew Pilo is a very good, probably better pocket passer than Haynes King is. Haynes King is just that bulldozer runner. Andrew Pilo, still a very good quarterback. So even though Georgia Tech is going to be without Haynes King next year for that matchup, it'll be very interesting to see what we do. We've got a lot of things to fix in this offseason, and that's really going to determine what I think about this team going into next year. Taco Bell, Live Moss, Scheme Moss, Gen J. I love it. I do. Maybe Georgia Tech's still salty about sharing a natty with CU. I'm sure there's still some fans that still think that they deserve that national championship, but we all know the truth. Because if it wasn't for the coach at Nebraska, Colorado wins that national championship easily. But of course, the Georgia Tech fans will come in here and say, well, you needed a 5th down to win the national championship, and blah, blah, blah. Some people never get over stuff, Cam. Some people never get over it. Yep, so we've got all that already on the show. Appreciate you guys for joining in. Let's talk Wyoming a little bit more. Already spoke a lot about it on Wednesday, what to expect, what we want to see. With Caden Salter being back at the helm, although still not officially confirmed by the team, it's pretty much all but given, considering that, the coaching staff, Brett Bartoloni taking the presser this week and pretty much all but alluding to the fact that Caden Salter will be the quarterback. The changes need to be had. I loved how blunt he was. Like, while he did agree to some of the things the team is doing now, I did like his comment about the identity, what they need to be, how they still need an identity, which we talk about each and every week on this show since this summer of what is this team's identity. We still have yet to know what it is. And that's frustrating that we're already this many games in the season and we truly don't know what the Buffs' identity is. I thought it would be a running team. I thought we would be running the ball more. I thought we would be running from the quarterback position more, and that's just not what we're doing. Are we running the ball better than we ever have? Yes. Is that still not good enough? Yes. Are we going away from the run too quickly, too often? Yes. All of those things are hurting the identity of what this team can be. And so we truly need this team to look completely different tomorrow. Keith, what is Wyoming's identity? Keith, I could tell you what Wyoming's identity because it's what everybody talks about when they talk about Wyoming this week. Wyoming is a team of the trenches. They are a team of physicality over skill. They are a team of a great defense. They are prideful on their defense and what they're able to do defensively, and they are just going to try and ram the ball down your throat. They are just going to try and plug up the middle of that field. That is Wyoming's identity. Wyoming has always been a difficult, tough, almost, if I dare say the words, blue collar type team where it is about getting dirty in the trenches, size on size. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to dominate you. And that's how we're going to win the game. And if you're able to beat us that way, then you're going to win the game. That's just how it is. They hold teams very close, even good teams they've held in close games for a while. But, eventually skill can win out if you can match up with them, blow for blow and keep going. They want to try and pound you into the ground, and they want to try and exhaust you. And then when you are exhausted, they're going to take advantage of you. That's how Wyoming plays. See, Cam knows Wyoming's a run first team. I thought we're going to be a defensive team. Northside, I thought we were too. I thought that's what our identity was going to be. I hoped, between scheme, between the skill that I thought we had, I thought that we could be that type of team. And it's exactly the opposite, which is another reason that we don't have an identity. Because going into the season, a lot of us thought defense was going to be our identity. That has not been the case. Okay, so then what is our identity at that point? We can't figure out a quarterback. We have no identity there. We're not passing the ball around the yard to all of these skilled wide receivers. There's no identity there. The only thing we've somewhat done successfully is pass block. But if we're not getting the yards with the pass blocking, what's the point? It's so difficult. I love it, buddy. What's that? I mean, Brett Bartoloni knows. I love that answer. Sound like Utah to me. Northside, if you're talking about Wyoming, Utah is a much better version of Wyoming. Utah is a much better version of Wyoming. So if we struggle tomorrow, that Utah game is going to be rough. It's going to be rough to watch. I'm telling you, it's going to be rough. Wyoming finna make us stop the run. Buddy, at this point, every team is going to. Any team that we play, even if that isn't their identity, if they're going to throw the ball around, although majority of the Big 12 teams are a run-first type offense, so we're going to struggle. Any team that watches the film on this defense is going to see what to do. I mean, we saw that last week with Houston. Houston saw Colorado's weakness in tape. Anybody can see it. You watch every game this year. Run between the tackles, and you're going to get yards. You're going to control the play. I mean, again, if you're a team watching Houston control the ball for as long as they did in that second half, excuse me, I'm going to do that every time. If I'm a team playing Colorado this year, until they prove that they can stop that and that they're going to aggressively focus on that, I'm just going to run those same plays that Georgia Tech did, that Houston did. Heck, even Delaware at times was able to be successful with. I'm just going to do that. Special teams as you as I did. Cam, I would say that's the only successful part of this team. So yeah, but if special teams is your identity and you're not scoring points on special teams, then you're not going to win games. Sir Guy, hot take. CU's man coverage playbook feels like a dream for every man beater offensive scheme. Way too easy to exploit right now. They're just not able to do really anything good on the back end at this point because they're so, I don't know if they're so focused on the run that they can't stop it, that they can't help on the back end either. It's just a domino effect. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Gualo, trust me, we're all worried about the BYU game. I don't know anybody that's not worried about the BU game. TCU might be one of the only games we have coming up that is not run focused. So we're going to have trouble for sure. Roberto, what's in the Buffs box? Well, Roberto, glad you asked. Glad you asked, because let's go ahead and just jump into it. We are going to do an ad read for the Buffs box. That's right. Go get your Buffs box. Now, what is in the Buffs box, says Roberto. Well, let me let you know what's in the Buffs box. Okay. Give me 1 second here, because I'm going to show you what's in the Buff box. The Buff box includes a cheesy Gordy to Crunch, okay? An order of cinnamon sticks, a Doritos Locos taco, okay? And then I believe, 7-layer burrito or a nacho cheese burrito, one of those two. Pretty darn good. It's big, too. When I ordered it, I was like, this is way too big. I can't finish the burrito. I can usually finish some of the taco and maybe have a cinnamon stick, cheese Gordy to Crunch, a lot of food. $7. Plus, then also you get your Buffs collectible cup at participating Taco Bells. So, if you're in the Colorado area, Roberto, for whatever reason, and you're at a Taco Bell in the Front Range, they'll most likely be advertising. I was at Taco Bell just the other day, and they had signs up all over the place for the Buff box. You can't miss the fact that the place is serving the Buff box. So, if you need to, go get your Buff box tomorrow, before the game, after the game. Hey, a lot of Taco Bells are open late. They're open till like 3 a.m., 1 a.m. You'll have to get it after the game. That's okay. You may need to drown your sorrows out tomorrow if that game doesn't go well. But if that's the case, at least the Buff box can maybe fix the situation. Buddy, bounce back game coming. I love it. I love the optimism from Buddy. We always know that's good news. Eric, what's good, Russ? We're getting that dub. I love it. Northside Prime already told us he'd like to run up the scoreboard. That means throwing the ball. I think it just means dominating Wyoming, just dominating them. And then, yeah, the thing is, if we run the ball successfully early, we can throw the ball around late and get the score up. So we'll see what happens. Eric, I wish I was in Colorado. I need that Buffs box. Well, if you're ever back and around here, come out to Taco Bell. Also, Taco Bell did release their Y2K menu. That's another great value, by the way, there, if you're into the Y2Ks. And that's available country-wide. So $3 or less per item on that menu. K-Salt needs to take control and be that guy. Go tell Pat. Tell him what he wants to run during the game. Be a part of the game plan, not just run what's given. I think Tu had that confidence. K-Salt needs to realize this is his chance. He's being given. I'm hoping, guys, this lights a fire under him. I said this on Wednesday. I will repeat it because I think a lot of people on the internet right now don't understand, or they think that, oh, you crushed his confidence, blah, 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 blah. If you're the guy, if you are him, nobody can crush your confidence, okay? You have that confidence no matter what. And if a coach benches you, you know what you do? You turn around and make them pay for benching you. You know what's going to be amazing after the game tomorrow night? If K-Salt goes out and absolutely dominates that game, and then Coach Prime has to answer questions of, well, why didn't you keep Caden Salter in and play him last week against Houston? It's obvious that Caden Salter is the best quarterback on this roster. Why are you messing around with it? He didn't lose the job against Delaware. He played okay, but you went with Staub because he looked a little bit more electric, when the fact is that K-Salt is the guy, and he proved it tonight against Wyoming. So that's going to be the question that we're going to ask at the end of tomorrow's game on the post-game show. Will we be discussing the fact that Caden Salter made the coaching staff look terrible, or maybe the coaching staff was right? Because a lot of people on the internet think that this coaching staff is absolutely horrendous because they benched Caden Salter, because Caden Salter is a Heisman-level quarterback. That's not coming from me. But there are several places on the internet that you can go. There is some Caden Salter for Heisman campaigns going on. So the fact is, he better show up tomorrow night and put on that type of performance. He absolutely better do it if he thinks he's that guy, if he is truly him. If CU get the chance, should they run the score up? Yes, they will absolutely run the score up. Coach Prime has never backed down to the idea of not running up the score in any game, especially early in the season, when he can get some more playing time for some guys, when he can figure out some extra things heading into some more conference play in our last non-conference game. So absolutely, absolutely. They should run up the scoreboard to prove that we have hope. Prime will dance around that question if he gets it. I know he will. But somebody will need to ask it, and I hope that somebody asks it because that tells me that Caden Salter balled out and did what he needed to do. And maybe, just maybe at that point, Colorado might be back on track. If I see the Caden Salter that I saw at Liberty finally show up and be decisive and do what he needs to do, stop with, the extra stuff, throw the ball on time, throw the ball in rhythm, throw the ball on play, and if it's not there, take off and go, son. Take off and go. Enough is enough with trying to be an NFL type quarterback. Be who you are, K-Salt. I know who you can be. You've got to show us that you are still that, and I want to see it. Also, Tu was always watching film. If you remember, he had that iPad out every chance he could get watching film. That's why Tu could change game plans more like Brady. And not a lot of people, King John, talk about that. I mean, right now, obviously, with the stuff going on in the NFL for Shedeur and everybody trashing the fact that Shedeur doesn't know the playbook, and that's why Gabriel was ahead of him, and, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's complete bull and utter horse crap, because we knew that Shedeur was a film junkie. He was a guy that understood the offense. To tell me that he didn't go to Cleveland and work his butt off to get to know that offense is absolutely hilarious to me, and absolutely shows that that team is trying to make every excuse for what is essentially blackballing a player who is obviously better than what you have on the roster. And I truly do hope that some team out there is able to pry him away from Cleveland. I do not want to see Shedeur succeed in Cleveland because they don't deserve it. I want to see him in Miami. I want to see him in San Francisco. I want to see him in Cincinnati. All these teams desperate for a quarterback right now. I don't know what Cleveland is doing, whether or not they have just decided that, they're going to make it their life's business to ruin Shedeur and make it as public as possible. That's where it's at. Yeah, Eric, Keith, you got it. You got it right there. Is Omarion Miller 100%? I don't know if he is this week, guys. I'm telling you, he was not 100% last week. You do not pull a hamstring and 2 weeks later, you're at 100%. Trust me. He was probably at maybe 70, 80% for last week. I hope that would mean that he's at 100%, especially because it was a longer week. Remember, we played Friday. We're playing Saturday, a little bit of a longer week. I hope they got him right. He's at 100% because I guarantee you, if he's at 100%, that ball he catches on the shovel pass goes for a touchdown most weeks for Omarion Miller. Because I heard so many people say, oh, Omarion Miller is so slow. I'm like, yeah, he's coming off a hamstring injury, guys. Of course he looks slow. He's not 100%. He can't be. So that's where I hope we get it. Russ, are you concerned the new Ralphie get nervous on the late start? She might get sleepy and her bedtime. Eric, it'll be fine. Okay, I'm sure they're doing some nighttime training. The guys are practicing at night, by the way. I don't know if you saw that this week. And per Mata, before our show, he said he got to see a little glimpse of Ralphie running after practice, which means at night, I think Ralphie's ready. I think this Ralphie is ready. I've heard everything that's so good about it. So I think it's happening. Hot take. I think the problem is CU's trying to so hard to be an NFL style that they're dumping too much responsibility on players who aren't pros yet. Jordan said, keep it simple in the conference. He knows. I would agree with that. It's why I've said, like, if and when Pat Shurmur is no longer the OC, I hope we go get a proven college coordinator, a head coach that may be on the hot seat that has success calling plays. I would love to get somebody like that. You're seeing that success across college football right now from teams who have taken on head coaches as OCs this year and turned around their offense. I'm sorry, this is college football. I get it. You want these kids to be ready for the NFL, and that is Coach Prime's goal, is to get these guys ready for the NFL. But I think that the team's culture gets them ready. I think that the way that they're pushed, the way that they're treated gets them ready for the NFL. As far as play calling, I mean, just help them, learn how to watch tape, learn how to break down defenses, do all that. But let's simplify things and let's run a true college offense that works, not a pro style offense that tries to do way too much stuff that just doesn't make sense to me. Yep, Shador, the Dolphins or Rams, it needs to happen. K-Salt needs to throw up that Shador. I would love that, Jared Crawford. That would tell me that K-Salt is ready, that K-Salt is here. Okay? That would tell me that. We need free Shador bumper stickers like the free Tibet in Minnesota. Skol Shador, Jared. I love it. I love it. Where the Buffaloes roam. Appreciate you coming in. I love it. Side quest. I really thought about Tua would call it quits, but man, he's risking it to make a point. And he's looking bad in the process. He could have easily just called it quits for a good reason. And I think nobody would have been mad at him. And now he's just kind of embarrassing himself at this point. There are no route runners in this team aside from Hystera, Ron Coleman, and Mathis. I'd love to see Hystera get some more play. I mean, my prediction at the beginning of the year that he'll get more playtime than Terrell Timmons is not looking good, but not because Terrell Timmons is playing a lot. I think he's played like a couple of snaps when, the game was out of hand against Delaware, but he has no catches. So actually, I said that Hystera would have more catches than Terrell Timmons, and right now I'm technically right because they're both at 0. I have no idea where Hystera went. I have no idea. I'd like to see Hystera get in there and play. I really would, but that doesn't sound like that's going to happen. If Pat Shurmur is removed as OC, would you go to Bartoloni or Leftwich? I got to say Bartoloni's interview this week was sounding good. Eric, my guess is if they truly removed Shurmur, one, I don't think they'd make it public. I think they would try to do it behind the scenes, although with all the leaks, my guess is we'd find out pretty quickly. However, I do think that if they did something, Bartoloni would take over those. Leftwich, with all of the stuff going on with him and just not fully being around the team, I don't think it can happen. Now, could they hire him full-time maybe next year if he wanted and didn't, get an NFL job? Maybe, but I don't know if that's going to help. I don't know if that's what we want. I want a little bit more of a long-term / experienced college coach, because that's what I truly, truly want to see. And see, King John, you say it, college is different from college or NFL. I agree. You can't be an NFL locker room because not everyone is going to the NFL. You need coaches who understand how to motivate college players as well. Well, and I think you also need to call a college game. I really do. Coach Barry coming in. Hello, my friend. I'm concerned about Salter's confidence because with all the quarterback switching, he seems to be struggling with his confidence. Plus, plays need to be called with his style play too. Yes. But we can't be worried about his confidence. If his confidence is shaken from being benched for one game, that's, as bad as it sounds, that's still on Salter. Like, guys need to figure that stuff out. You gotta be ready when your moment is called. I'll recall back, and not saying that I'm better than Salter or anything like that, but back in my college sports playing days, my senior season, I was a backup to a starter who struggled, but I had coaches at the time that believed in being confident in that player, believed in, going tooth and nail no matter what with that starter to say that they're the guy and that's what's going on. I accepted it. I did my part. I played hard in practice. I did what I can. That starter got suspended for our playoff game. And I had to step in, and I did. I made it my point of I'm going to show these coaches, one, that they made a mistake by sticking with him, and two, that they didn't show me the same confidence, a year prior, because the year prior, I had a different coach, position coach at the time, who did not believe in keeping you confident. He believed in going with the hot hand. And so that kept happening to me. And it got to the point where they were pulling players from other positions just to challenge. And it looked terrible. And it did hurt my confidence at that time. Going into the next year, though, I knew I was backup. I took that role seriously. When I got that chance to step in after they were suspended and kicked off the team, I did everything that I could. I did everything that I could to prove to those coaches that I was the right pick. And I had a game of my life. We still lost by 1 point. Mind you, this wasn't football, by the way. This was soccer, but we lost. And I played a game of my life, and the coaches came up to me afterwards and they were like, "Where was that?" And I said, literally, like, I just wanted you to show me a little confidence and go with me. I've always been like that. But, that's where it's at. You gotta, as the player, you gotta perform. You gotta make the coaches pay. And I hope that Salter's on a revenge tour right now. A revenge tour by showing up and playing unbelievably, not only for this weekend, but going forward. We need to develop our players. Stanford said Prime would kept 22-23. What are we saying there? North side. NFL can build a core over the years. In college, it's transfer portal and players leaving. You're basically starting from scratch every season. The pro style just doesn't work here. And that's a good point, Sir Guy. And it's what I keep telling everybody. Every team is going through this. Okay. This whole like, oh, you can go 5-6 positions deep and you're going to be good. And those players are going to stick around for all 4 years. That's not going to happen in the portal age. That's not happening anymore. Depth is going to be a difficult thing to keep when it comes to college sports. Teams are starting to adjust. Rosters are starting to adjust as more of the higher up teams are starting to lose some of that talent in the portal to other teams. So all this stuff is happening. It's changed the way the game works. So can we simplify the game for these kids? Can we simplify what we're doing and use what works? Look at the teams that are successful. Very few of the top 25 teams run pro style offenses. They run your prototypical college offenses, and, not many are running a West Coast offense at this point. It's just the fact that's college football. Can we get with the times, guys? Can we get with the times? Lil Bucket, what's up with the new recruit? Don't know anything about him. Is he good? Christian Ward's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's at IMG. He is balling out at IMG. And we know for a fact that when players come from IMG, they are just that much more prepared to step in and be a part of this team right away. I look at Christian Ward and I believe that he can be just like Quinnell Farrakhan. I believe that he can be just like Quentin Gibson. I believe he can step in next year, take some snaps, play some games, be ready to go. He's got the size, he's got the ability, and he's got the preparation already in the bag being at IMG. We know that. That's why Prime is so focused on IMG, is because he knows that those players are going to be the cream of the crop, ready to go, no matter what their stars are. I mean, look at Cash Cleveland. Cash Cleveland got to step in as a pretty much unrated walk-on player because he was from IMG. So if Coach Prime's going after IMG, he knows what's going on. He knows what he wants, and that's an important aspect to see. Appreciate Little Bucket. Coach Barry, of course, with the $10. I also agree with Dave. Pat play calling just not cut the mustard. Quarterbacks are running like running backs. Running backs are having career yards against our Buffs. Yes, Coach Barry, I would agree. I mean, I've said that since the beginning of the season. I just don't like what's happening with the play calling there. What I don't like is, okay, and I'll say this, Coach Barry, there are, if you really look at the tape, okay, and you look at the plays are there, okay? I know that everybody hates the swing passes. When we've done them this year, those swing passes should have gone for big yards in every single game. The fact is that our wide receivers are not blocking. You watch every single videotape, the receivers are having issues with blocking. So here's where I'm frustrated and why I don't like what Pat is doing. If your receivers can't block, and we're now, several games in the season, and we know that the receivers can't block, why are you calling those plays thinking that they're going to all of a sudden be able to block? Again, as Dave would say, that is the definition of insanity. We are doing the same thing over and over, hoping for a different result. We are hoping that all of a sudden it's going to click and our wide receivers are going to be able to block, and that's going to work. Same with Salter running out there. I mean, the few times that he did that in the Georgia Tech game, the few times he did that in Delaware, if the receivers are able to hold their blocks better, then whoever it is with the ball could have gone off for an entire touchdown. Like, the play is there. If you know football and you look out there, it's one-on-one across the board. It means everybody has a blocker on them. And yet it's the guys with blockers that are making the plays by breaking off the block and tackling them behind the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage, 2-3 yards. So that's the big point. And if you're going to be a bubble screen team, as Buddy says here, you know, you need guys who can block. We should have wide receivers that are good at blocking. We should have been looking for that. We got playmaker wide receivers who are supposed to be catching the ball and getting the ball in space, and yet we're forcing them to block and wondering why it's not working when they don't block. So again, going back to your point, Coach Barry, that's the part of Pat's play calling. Adjust. Okay. Yes, execution wise, or not execution wise, but play calling wise, it's not as bad as we think. But why are we not adjusting for the players that we have? Why are we not adjusting based on the execution we're seeing from our players? You can always make things easier. And it happened last year with the offensive line, how we did not do anything to help the offensive line when we knew they were bad. Our offensive line is pretty good this year when it comes to pass blocking. And yet, we're not figuring out how to utilize that correctly by running plays that just don't make sense. They don't make sense to me because they're not working. They're not working. And they're not working because, they're calling at the wrong time or the play, I'm going blank because it's a Friday here. But, the game plan is there. It's right. But the guys can't execute those blocks. We're way too far in the season to realize that they're all of a sudden going to be able to hold those blocks. Juju me, please, says Esses. Coach Sanford also said Brett been coming to Valor High School a lot, also Wyoming and North Carolina, Nebraska. I wouldn't be surprised that he's at Valor. I wouldn't. Yeah, we had the same issue with wide receivers not being able to block last year too. We didn't have a tight end that could block last year, but we have one now. The one new tight end is nice. I like him when he blocks. Yeah, and I had some couple plays in the Georgia Tech game that Atkins did pretty well. He had one play that he did blow a block, and it led to Caden Salter getting tackled early on a play that he ran outside. But there was another one that Atkins took on two guys and held them, but Omarion Miller got thrown off his block, and that's why Salter didn't get to go. Because had he held his block, Caden Salter is running for 70 yards and a touchdown against Georgia Tech. Same thing last week with some of the screenplays we had. There was one play that was a field goal when it should have been a touchdown. It was a sweep out to the outside, a swing play, to one of the receivers. And we had hat on hat, guys. We had hat on hat. And the initial wide receiver that was blocking let off their block, allowing our guy to get tackled short of the first down. If he blocks, that's a touchdown. Not even just a first down, it's a touchdown. And there's a lot of plays that have been like that all year. Northside, appreciate you with a super sticker. I can't play them on my end, but I always appreciate the support of the channel and the super chat. What are you going to do on the defensive side, stopping those runners and quarterbacks from running all over us like a track meet? I mean, we need to make adjustments there. We need to bring in an extra linebacker, perhaps. What I want to see, if I'm being honest, Coach Barry, and I think a lot of people can agree to this, but at this point, we've talked about it. Each of these games, make the quarterback beat us with his arm. Now, I will say Houston, Wegman had his one deep throw downfield in one-on-one coverage, and he completed it, and that was great. I'm fine with that. Keep going with that. But to get beat over and over and over and over and over again by running the ball, that is just demoralizing to the team. It's demoralizing to you as a defensive player, as an offensive player, seeing that the team can't stop anything. Spy the quarterbacks, bring in more linebackers, change out the safety if you need to bring an extra linebacker in, go man-to-man across the board. But also work on adjusting man-to-man, because the fact that we're still chasing guys across the field, for the love of God, in man-to-man, why aren't we hiding that by having guys switch off, every now and then, by doing some more things like that? There's just so many questions that I ask, and I'm not even a football guy. And I'm just like, what is going on here? It's obviously not working. So why aren't we changing it up? That's my biggest question for both the offense and the defense. Why are we not adjusting to what is happening on the field? It's like the coaches are saying, and I get it. Coach Prime has said it. Every coach has said it. The game plan is there. They're not executing. Okay. If they're not executing, it's because they can't execute it. They just can't. They're not all of a sudden going to execute it overnight. So play to your players' strengths and change up the team for your players rather than changing your players for the team. You know what I mean? I forgot where I heard this, but it makes sense that if you want a physical team, your practice has to be physical. I wonder how physical is practice. I mean, what the F is thudding? Is LSU thudding? OMG, all these YouTubers every day saying the same ish. It's depressing. What's so depressing, for show? What's so depressing? Let me know. Well, what is it about my message that is so depressing and so anti, this team, I'm assuming is what you're saying, is that, what does that look like? Because guess what? We're all watching the same game. And it's not just YouTubers that are saying this either. It's ex-players, it's NFL players, it's NFL coaches, it's NFL personalities, it's so many people across the board. We're all saying the same thing. Yeah, we are. Because we're all asking for the same darn thing from this team. Yeah. See you Buffs. If you remember me in the offseason, I said I was going to give Pat Shurmur the benefit of the doubt. I truly did say I was going to give Pat Shurmur the benefit of the doubt. And through these first few games, I do not like the way that we're going because I don't believe we're adjusting enough for who we have and what we have. And I want to just get something better. I truly do. This team deserves it. Some of these players deserve it. They're good enough players to get the ball in their hands to figure things out. But what I hope most of all, and again, the whole same thing, it's depressing. I'm still high on this team. I believe that we have a chance tomorrow night to put things back on track and to figure some stuff out. The question is, can we do it? And I hope we can. I hope we can. And of course, I'm going to be cheering hard for it. Because, if you want to talk about all these YouTubers saying the same stuff is depressing, there's not many of us YouTubers out there covering the Buffs that have been longtime Buffs fans like myself, like David Talks Buffs. I mean, both of us have been longtime suffering Buffs fans. There is a different little bit of, history to that. I'm not cheering for the downfall of this team. I'm not cheering for the team to be bad. There are definitely some people and stuff out there cheering for it. Yep. Shurmur defense, the SMF, it's like nothing to look forward to, just beating a dead Buff. I have plenty to look forward, and I already talked about that. I think the problem is right now, you're kind of cherry picking, stuff to kind of say that it's a depressing thing. I said it earlier. I want Caden Salter to go out there and prove everybody in the world wrong that he is the best quarterback on this roster and that Coach Prime was not smart for taking him out and that this coaching staff was not smart for doing it. I want to see that happen. And I want to see these players execute. If that's the thing. Okay. I think for sure you must be new to this channel. I think you're just kind of cherry picking what's happening and don't really know what this channel is about. Because I have said it numerous times. Yeah, I would not be anything without Coach Prime. Like, I'm not one of those people out there that is acting like I'm in this position because, I did it by myself. Okay. Well, you haven't watched every live because now you're just lying. So there you go. Good. Glad to have you around. Happy Friday. Appreciate you, Brandon. Appreciate you. Everybody got a plan until the gate hit in the mouth. Let's see what Caden does after he gets hit in the mouth Saturday. And after the game, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. And this is what I hope more than anything. I truly, truly do hope that Caden Salter goes out there and hits everybody in the mouth by showing what he's able to do and what he's capable of doing. I'm excited for that. I'm really looking forward to that tomorrow night. And I do think that in the end, I'm the one that said that Colorado was going to win 27-14 and it was going to look pretty good. While that may be too close for some, I'm also not calling a really close game like a lot of people, but hey, that's what happens. You know what, Gualo? I'm gonna do a fun stream one day where I'm just gonna talk like a happy person, and say that everything is perfect. You know what? That's what's gonna happen. For show, come back on Monday if the Buffs lose and see what we talk about. Okay, I'm gonna make a show where I just say, everybody, things are perfect. This is the best team ever. It's unbelievable. There's nothing wrong with it. Everything's great. That's where we're at. I love those people. Because I'm a long-time Buffs fan. Like, trust me, I am not somebody who has thought that Coach Prime, like the crazy people online saying that Coach Prime should get fired after the start of the season are the most insane people ever. But these last streams have been depressing, not just you, but everybody that covers the Buffs. 4-8 season wasn't this bad. For sure. Do you not know why that's happening? Do you not know why that's happening? So you're fine with the team right now. You're saying that the team's playing amazing. The team's playing great. Everything's wonderful. We've got nothing to worry about because I had higher expectations for this team. I know the skill that is available on this team. I know how good this team can be, and they are not doing that. The 4-8 team, that's what we expected. That was literally the line for the season, was them expecting to get that many wins. And it was the first season with everything. So yeah, we weren't down on the team then because it was brand new. And honestly, actually, you go back to that season, we were down on the team because we were down on Sean Lewis and we got him fired halfway through the season. So, that's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. He's optimistic. We need that in this community. See, Gualo gets it. He knows that I'm one of the more optimistic ones out there. You call my show depressing. Well, man, you've got some problems. You've got some problems because I'm one of the more positive YouTubers out there when it comes to this team. I feel like I'm giving a fair shake when it comes to my takes right now. I could go completely, dark side on it. And Dave doesn't also go that. But there's YouTubers out there, calling it out, saying it's an absolute mess, obviously. Players are great. Game plan is too complicated. Teams know how to beat us and teams know how to beat us because they know what plays we're going to run. I used to love watching the streams after the game. Now I avoid them. I'm not fine with this team, but damn, what did you expect? Post 12-2? What did you expect? Post 12-2? Not sure. That's the whole point. Sir, you hit it perfectly. The skill and talent is there. The game plan hasn't been there. That's all we're asking for. That's all we're talking about. We're hoping to see it. The 4-8 team was put together last minute, literally put together in like 3 months. Exactly. We weren't nobody was, I did not go into that season expecting Big 12 championship. I literally said my goal was 6 wins. That was my goal. That was the ceiling. That was as happy as we could be. We didn't hit it. We still got 4 wins, and we got the TCU win, which we should not have won. I don't care what anybody says about that TCU game. The TCU game, we were not expected to win. We were 20-plus point underdogs, and we won. So we can enjoy that. We can absolutely enjoy that. I mean, there's not much else for us to talk about. I was one of Pat's biggest supporters. And I was Pat's biggest supporter post Shador and Travis. You're on this channel earlier in the offseason, and I said, I'm giving Pat Shurmur the benefit of the doubt. The problem is I'm watching the tape through 4 games, and it's not working. And it's not that it's not working in the sense that because again, I don't believe it's Pat Shurmur's play calling. I believe it's the fact that this team can't execute that play calling, so we need to change it up. I mean, how is that depressing? When the fact is, I'm not saying Pat Shurmur should be fired right this moment. Because again, I've also said, and I said it on Wednesday, the problem is you don't got much to go to if you fire Pat Shurmur. Wait until after the season if you truly want to do that and you want to see something different. Which at that point, I might want to see that because we'll get a whole season of this and we're going to figure it out. But the post-game stream are so great for my mental health. Keep them coming. We appreciate Russ. And that's the thing. I felt like it was therapy after the last game. I don't know for sure if you were with us or not on that post-game show. Like, yeah, we were mad and pissed off about the Houston, but we were also, trying to have some therapy about it and trying to, walk people off the ledge because there was people online calling for Coach Prime to be fired. That wasn't us. That wasn't us at all. Yeah, TCU game will always be one of the most epic moments. I mean, I was literally in tears, guys. You don't understand. I was in tears at getting to witness that win. And that'll never be taken away, no matter what happens. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if anybody says that TCU wasn't a good team that year or what. It was still the fact that we were not supposed to be in that game. CU had struggled for so long Again, being a longtime CU fan, it was not something I enjoyed watching. It was not something I enjoyed cheering for. It was not something I could go out in public wearing CU gear here in Colorado because it was an embarrassment. And to win that game was, it will always be a top moment. Always be a top moment. Yeah, people are going to look back on that TCU game as one of the biggest SOT. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Quarterback are panicking in clean pockets like Chicken Little. Yep, stories college football team has ever had. Oh, okay, one of the biggest stories college football. Yes, and people will downplay it all the time because it's Coach Prime, but it was still amazing. We all just admit we expect them to hit on every transfer player. They probably missed on many as they hit. Gonna have to decrease how many they grab at the portal each year. Where the Buffaloes roam, you're right and you're wrong. Okay, they're not gonna have to decrease how many they grab in the portal every year because they literally grab the same as all the other top 25 teams in the country. So that part's a no. The part that you're right is every year teams are going to hit and miss on transfers. And the goal is to hit more than miss, and you'll be in the top of the country when it comes to teams. Okay? It's a proven fact. What happened to Ole Miss last year? Ole Miss completely redid the roster in the transfer portal, didn't play as well. This year, same thing. They did the same process. They didn't just stop doing. They didn't just say, "Oh, we're not going to use the transfer portal anymore because it doesn't work." They're now in the top 25 and looking pretty decent. Okay, there's so many teams like that. The top 25 is evolving every year. It's changing. It's not just the same teams all the time. I mean, look, Bama's struggling right now, but other teams are not. So the fact is that, yes, you live and die by the portal now. You live and die by the portal now. So, yes, did Colorado miss on a bunch of transfers? Yes, they absolutely did. They absolutely did. And they need to learn from it, and they need to make sure they do better next offseason. That's where I believe. Lamar, I appreciate you. $5 super chat. If this game is close, like a 14-point victory, Colorado may not get bowl eligibility. Coach Prime should not side with Shermer. Choose the team. Bowl eligibility is gonna be hard, guys. It's gonna be hard if we continue the way we're playing. I mean, everything needs to change. Everything needs to change, and hopefully it does, and we can get to bowl eligibility. That's my goal now. That's my shifted goal. Is I want those 6 wins. I would love in the next 5 games to win. Not Wyoming. I think we're gonna win Wyoming. But the 5 games after that, I'm hoping for 2 wins. We're playing the 5 best teams in the Big 12 right now. Teams that look absolutely dominant, look absolutely very good right now. So to get 2 wins in those would actually be a pretty good success with the way we're playing. Now, if we come out tomorrow and we absolutely dominate Lamar and we look better and Caden Salter looks back to his normal, I'm going to be a little bit higher on this team moving forward, hoping that that momentum plays into those games and we get an upset in one of those big games coming up. Love my Buffs and Broncos, but it's not worth losing your ish over. I get it. I get it. Also, I got the Broncos shirt on today, baby. I got the Broncos shirt on today. I don't care about the loss of the Colts. Russ, I don't like the tape of that high school recruit's defensive tackle from Bama. Who's the defensive tackle from Bama that we're getting? Prime needs to start doing limited home visits to elite players, at least in Texas and Florida. Portal's not going to save this program every year. We're still getting 5 and 4 stars. Like, I guess you're new to CU that we never got that before. Like, he's pulling that without going into the home. I talked to recruits' parents, and they said they like the fact that he's not going into the home of their. They understand it. Okay. I think it's more of us projecting that than it is on the actual recruits. Until some kid says that that's why they didn't pick Colorado's because Coach Prime wouldn't come to his house, I'm going to be fine with it. Rob, there wasn't a lot of people wearing Buffs gear before Prime got there. If you only knew the landscape Buffs football before Prime, yeah, there was no Buffs football landscape before Prime. There just wasn't. I mean, back in the 2000s there were, but in the last 15 years or so, it's completely died off in Colorado. And, now the pride is to just wear Colorado gear that's not associated with the university. So there's that. Other position coaches not giving Pat much help. You got Price averaging 6 yards per carry. Then we get Welch with getting tackled for a loss. Draylon Miller dropping passes, running the wrong routes. I feel for you, Pat. I mean, the execution's not always there either. They're not helping out. I would agree with that. Coach Prime has to start recruiting by going on home visits, at least to the elite players. But my question is, how many of those visits does he go on where kids don't commit? Like, what does that equal? I mean, what's the point of that? That's the problem is, in this day and age of recruiting, that may not even make a difference. It may not make a difference. Everybody assumes that by Coach Prime going to somebody's house, it's going to automatically get us these 5-star recruits. He got Jordan Seaton, he got Julian Lewis without doing those. So unless you can guarantee a commitment from that, I mean, it's a waste. It's a waste in so many ways. I think Prime is the type of guy that figures out. I'm not betting against him 6-6. Buddy, this is shocking, guys. Like, I get it, buddy. You're one of the most realistic fans out there. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. You definitely do not side on the homer side. But for you to say that you're on board and you're not going to bet against him and it's 6-6, that's pretty good. I like it. I like it, buddy. Maybe I'm turning you around. Maybe I'm turning you around a little bit. We're getting you a little bit more optimistic on the optimistic side. Many of these schools have poor evaluation and are horrible at developing players. Northside knows that too. Northside knows that. I hope we hire Mike McDaniel as our next OC. That'd be interesting. Coach Barry, I hate losing Tajay and the linebacker left Alabama who was leading season tackles before getting hurt last year. Them, Bentley made Arden. Yeah, they did. I would agree with that. And those are probably the two biggest misses, but I don't know the circumstances, Coach Barry. You know, I mean, the funny thing is, Nikhil Green is not starting at Bama. He is rotating in. He would have been the full-time backer here at Colorado. So I don't know the circumstance of why he left. Same with Colton Hood. Like, he would have been starting. He would have absolutely been starting opposite of DJ McKinney had he stayed here. But he's in Tennessee, succeeding in the SEC, making probably a lot more money. I don't know if it was money. I don't know if it truly was his brother. The story is just getting old and outdated because if it was because they cut his brother and then he went on to not play with his brother, like, I don't know. That just seems hypocritical to me. I'd rather the kid just say, yeah, Tennessee paid me a lot more money and I'm playing in the SEC. Okay, great. I can understand you doing that. That was more important to you than great. But those are probably the biggest losses. I mean, Tajay, I don't think it was as big of a loss as we think. I haven't even checked in on Tajay, by the way. Has anybody checked in on Tajay on how he's doing outside of Colorado? Anybody? I'm going to look him up. Tajay McCoy. Let's find out what you've been doing. Okay, Tajay McCoy went to Oklahoma State. Let's see his grades so far. Okay, guys. Ooh, guys, he's not even like, I don't think is he starting at Oklahoma State? First game of the season against Tennessee Martin, he got 13 snaps. Then last game against Oregon, he got 23 snaps. He graded out at a 56, guys. He graded out as a 56. So just like I said, sometimes going to the other side there's not greener grass. Like right now, the only two players, quote unquote, in the Coach Prime era that I feel like have had massive success after leaving Colorado are Tyson Jordan, which again, I don't count that one because he was coming off an ACL, blown knee, not looking good, not ready to perform. Coach Prime has no idea what he's got, so he lets him go. And now Colton Hood being successful at Tennessee after leaving. But outside of that, anybody else have like examples of guys that have left and like absolutely dominated and succeeded out there? Let me know. Because I don't think they have. We got to win by at least 28 to make it look smooth. I have faith things will turn it around. Crazy thing is Tajay not doing none at Oklahoma State. Dumpster fire. Yeah. Well, he went to an even worse team than Colorado. You guys think Colorado is bad? Oklahoma State is way worse than Colorado is right now. NIU head coach Hammock said it's the best about schools taking players because they develop and they are really good at evaluation. Yep. Right. Assad Wasim is out there playing all the receivers that got recruited over him, but he's also at FIU. Like, it's not like he's playing Oregon's and these tougher teams. I want to see it throughout the whole season, but I would say Assad Wasim's looking pretty good. Appreciate you, Rob. Appreciate you for the reminder. Manuel Ruffin that's coming to visit this weekend. I don't like his tape. Oh, okay. The guy coming this weekend. I don't like his tape. There's another kid, by the way, coming from Colorado this weekend. Colorado offensive lineman is coming on official visit this weekend. Double checking who it is. Give me a sec. Boo, 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 boo. See if I can find him. I can't remember his name. Like 11th ranked player in Colorado is coming to visit, but that'll be interesting for that. Okay. So that's what's going on. the thing that they don't get, OC that's going to drill their head like Chip Kelly was doing at Ohio State. He was yelling at them, calling them idiots when they were running routes. Buddy is very realistic. CCU Buffs has been around enough. He knows that Buddy is realistic. So for Buddy to say 6-6, that's saying something. That's saying something. Of course I respect Buddy. I've respected Buddy since the beginning. Even when I'm high on things, he brings me back down a little. Cephalufau, Colorado days were lit. I was there. Shout out to CU alums. Yeah, I got to see the CSU-CU game that year with Cephalufau. That time period, the Philip Lindsay time period when they looked so good. But, thank you for the update. I also don't think that they were paying him to come here and play. They were paying him to come to be a backup if somebody got hurt. I don't know who you were talking about, Coach Barry. Bip seems to initiate. We told Colton and Nakai to kick rocks. I mean, if you talk to him firsthand, he talks to Colton Hood. Maybe he did. I don't know. Yeah, I am too. At this point, he's gone. There's no point in worrying about it. Don't estimate Prime selling CU to parents. If he goes on home visits, he can offset some of the NIL imbalance. A lot of these parents are huge Prime fans. Well, then come to Colorado. Why not come? I talked, like I said, directly to a few parents of some of the guys on the team. And the big thing they said is they don't get the whole home visit vibe. They're like, I'm not sending my kid home. I want to see where my kid is going. I want the red carpet rolled out in Colorado. I want Coach Prime giving me attention in Colorado versus flying all the way to my house to sit me in the living room and tell me the exact same thing. That doesn't tell them anything. What tells them something is being in Colorado, seeing what Boulder's about, seeing how beautiful it is, seeing how great the city is, how great the school is, and then seeing the facilities and all that stuff. That's a bigger sell on anybody than them coming to the house. I don't think you guys realize, I don't think kids care about that. I don't think kids care about that. And to say that the parents care about it, well, the parents aren't the ones that end up making the decisions. We see that time and time again. I still want whoever cut Brandon Hood to get fired. I'd love to know more information about that. CU have been developing, have poor developing coaches. Don't matter the high school ranks, they develop it or don't matter. Sidebar, 2015 Alabama coaching staff was legendary. I know Mel Tucker is a sore spot for CU. He's supposed to resurrect CU program and left like a thief in the night. And he got what came to him. So we can say that at least. Sam's take, Dylan Edwards is doing okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. He is injured this year. So I'd give that, Sam, I appreciate you for calling me on that. I sometimes forget about Dylan Edwards. The fact that he's not playing so far this year, I think has kind of got him out of my head for a little while, but he'll be back this weekend, it sounds like. So we'll see if he is back to his potential. That one's a hard one. And Rob, yeah, Anthony Hankerson did go on to be solid. I just don't know if he would have fit in this offense or what would have happened if he had continued going forward. I don't know if he has as big of a season as he did if he stayed here versus going to Oregon State. But that's another good one. So there's four guys out of the hundreds of guys that have left because of how much turnover this. Yeah, yes. Big Prime quote, like you said, the grass not always greener on the other side. He said you need to do your homework before you decide to hit that portal. Got to let go stuff at some point. Wide receiver at Arizona State, that's Tyson Jordan. I just talked about that, and that's a completely different story. He never touched the field for Prime because he was injured, and so Prime needed immediate impact and wasn't sure if that guy was going to be good to go after the ACL. Arizona State took a flyer on him, and he came back and succeeded. It took him a little bit of time, but he succeeded. That one's a hard one. That's Hankerson. Yeah, Anthony Hankerson, Rob Demand got it. Yeah, FIU would get blown out by CU. Yeah, seeing a guy at that low level succeed is a little bit different than seeing a guy go on to an SEC school like Bama or Tennessee and succeed. Defensive edges aren't good. They're doing okay. Alex McPherson graded out pretty darn good. 17-6-0 kids are coming. I know Matt's going to be there, so we'll see what happens with that. Colton Hood very much missed 3 games in a row. A different DB started opposite side of DJ. I liked Assad, but he was far too behind on the depth chart to play. Liechtenstein entered the portal 23, landed Oregon State, started all 12 games, was named a top Pac-12, graded out really well. I think he graded out average. I don't know if he would have, but let me double check because linemen are hard. So Let's see what he did 2024, 2023. Oh, whoops. I need to switch to offense. So last year, yeah, he graded out an 83. He did pretty darn good for Oregon State. But like I said, Oregon State also did pretty good. Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem with the Oregon State stuff, with Hankerson, with Gerald Lichtenstein. The competition that they had that year. I mean, Idaho State, San Diego State, Oregon, Purdue, Colorado State, Nevada, UNLV, Cal, San Jose State, Air Force, Washington State, Boise State. Like, he did grade out very well against Boise State, but graded horribly against Air Force, horribly against Colorado State. Oregon, he graded out okay, 68. So again, could be competition level, but yes, he did play out pretty well compared to what we had as our team. Statesman, I've gone over this. I didn't go to CU because I got a scholarship to play soccer elsewhere in the state. Had family who went to CU, been following CU football my whole life. But I'm not going to go to CU if I'm not going to get to do the sport I love and the major I want and all that stuff. So I went just down the road because they don't have a men's soccer team there. They have a club soccer team, which I would have had to pay to play, but I got an actual soccer scholarship. You got to go where the money is. Still cheered for the team, went to games, all that stuff. I can live with 6 and 6, especially if all the players more really make improvements. Yep. Being in an all-conference team and a 2-conference team is not a flex. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say with that. He did okay. Lamonius Craig did okay. Sabian Washington went to Syracuse. Did okay. His grades weren't the greatest. I'm just saying he didn't like go out and dominate and make us miss him. Talking Saul. I know there were some people wanting him gone after that game. I want some good play action. Yes, Coach Barry. I don't want to see our team getting killed on the blitz because it's starting to make me have flashbacks last season. Get Pat out of here. Matt said, "See, you invited 17 Colorado kids to the game this weekend." Yeah, there's a lot of kids coming. There's a lot of kids coming to this game, guys. See, the Delaware game was a blowout. I haven't said otherwise. The Delaware game was a blowout. Houston blew us out. I remember talking to some NFL players, and their definition of a blowout is more than 10 points is technically considered a blowout. So I will always throw out there what an actual blowout is. If it's more than 2 scores, it is considered to football players a blowout. And any coach or anybody else want to chime in on that, go ahead and say that. Okay. Delaware was a blowout. They almost lost the game until Staub had some fluke throws. I wouldn't call those fluke throws. Lamar is a CU Kim. Okay, guys. Don't start going after each other in the chat. I don't want to ban or block anybody. Please don't do that. We were in the Houston game at half. We were, but we got blown out in that second half. I got bad news for you, my friend. 2 of my parlay bets out of the 15 is on the Chargers to beat your Broncos. Dang it, Coach Barry. Don't end on that. I'm fine with it. Chargers are a good team. I'm a little worried about this weekend. I would not be surprised if we aren't able to win that game. If we play like we did last week, we're definitely not winning that game. Okay, we're going to end on that. I appreciate you, Coach Barry. I appreciate all you guys for the super chats today. Northside, Coach Barry, you guys were awesome. Lamar, I appreciate it no matter what's going on in the chat. I appreciate the $5 as always to support the channel. Thank you guys so much. I got to get out of here. I'm going to go enjoy my Friday night. You should too. Enjoy it. We've got a football game late tomorrow night. Hey, I hope to see you here for the after game show. Okay. Win or lose, we're going to show up. We're going to be here for you. We lose, it's therapy time. We're going to have a nice kumbaya moment. Get your anger out, guys. It's okay. We'll figure it out. We win. Come in here and celebrate with us. Have a fun time tomorrow night. I appreciate you guys so very much. Until tomorrow night, for Buffs News Weekly, I'm Russ. And as always, Sko Buffs.